Yeah. Hey, Harrison. Thanks for doing this. Appreciate it. What do you guys kind of need to do to get your rhythm back or whatever? It's been kind of uneven play the last month or so. The loss at Detroit, the tough first half at Indianapolis, the game yesterday. What do you guys got to do to get back to playing your best football as the playoffs approach?
Are you talking about as a team, as a defense?
Well, I mean, you can speak as both a team and you can speak both as a defense as well.
I mean, I would say defensively, just a lot of talks with some of our leaders and our significant contributors is, when you start to point one finger, there's a lot more back at you. And so all of us want to look internal and figure out how can I dominate my job, right? Maybe doing my job alone, doing it good isn't good enough. And we're not asking anybody to go outside their own framework or without the scheme. But if you dominate your assignment, that kind of makes things a little bit easier and a little more clear. So we're looking really internal on the individual level. And I think that's because of the maturity we have in our defense. And then collectively, momentum is real and it's really big in the playoffs. I've been there 3 years in a row. And I think that when you have all three phases working together, that's very strong. And so you never want to go into a place and play an opponent and be beating yourselves and they have momentum. You got 3 against 1 in those situations. So you got to make sure you don't beat yourselves. You keep the momentum. And I think that's what we're working towards. And we have a great opportunity this week to try to lay some groundwork before we get into the playoffs.
Hey, Harrison, as you do reflect on the past couple of playoff journeys, I was wondering what you try to relay to teammates as to why you guys may have been successful or not successful at getting to the ultimate goal, advancing, but maybe not getting the ultimate goal, and how you kind of take that on and spread the word as you gear up for this.
Yeah, I think first thing is it gets tough each week you advance because each week you advance, one of your friends on another team doesn't. And you see the pictures at Cabo on a boat and deep sea fishing and doing all these things. And so for younger players who maybe don't feel the urgency or for, hey, we make it to the playoffs every year. This was easy. We got 12, the younger players who've never been there, they don't understand how hard of this is to accomplish. And, the car goes too fast. You really don't get these opportunities again. And so I think it's important to preach to them that it is at every snap, not every play, not every quarter. It's at every snap, kind of life or death feeling. And you have to be at your best at all times. Playoff football is different. I've played in 6 games in the play. I mean, they're different football games. So I think that's one thing that we preach. And then number 2 is at that point in the season, you're going to have some scheme stuff that you do every week, but for the most part, them and they know you. And so I think there's a healthy transition between the coach's team and the players' team. And I know a lot of the times that I've lost or come up short in the playoffs, we got back in the locker room afterwards and said, man, I wish we had done this. And I wish we had done this. And I think that's something we could put in the forefront is saying, hey, let's not have those. Let's put, let's go all in. And I think we could find success with that.
Chris, go ahead.
Yeah, Harrison, wonder if you could offer an assessment of the defensive line and the fact you've had a few pieces moving in and out. You get Tomlinson back, but then you lose Bullard and Lynch, and TJ Smith had to be called up from the practice squad for some snaps. How do you feel the line is coming along with some, different pieces changing in recent weeks?
Yeah, been praying a lot for our guys that are banged up to get back healthy as soon as they can. Obviously, Dalvin came back, and you see the impact. He had a great flash play yesterday, a great leader for us. Bullard, has been coming along great. Lynch has been dominating his rehab. I thought TJ did a really good job. He's a very consistent player. What you're going to get out of him. And I trust him very much. And so that's something to be, go out there with someone you don't play with often. You don't know if you have that confidence. And I know he knows his job. And he's going to do his assignment. Collectively, we've been led all year fantastically by our position coach, Chris Rump. He's done a great job with us. And, kind of what I was alluding to earlier, I think up front we've all played good. you can't really, everybody will have a play here and there. Maybe two of our D tackles are doing real good and one guy has a bad or something like that. But we've been playing good, but it's time to elevate that, and you got to dominate. And instead of those tackles that we're making for a 4-yard gain, if you dominated your guy, it might be a 1-yard gain or no gain. And so those are the things that we have to look inward for. But overall, I really like my room.
Go ahead.
Hi, Harrison. Apologies for the camera off here today. Just wanted to actually ask about, on the other side, obviously I know they're on offense, but with Brian and Austin being injured yesterday, and coach just talking about waiting on further details, but obviously significant injuries. How does the team sort of handle the loss of them on the field? But I know KJ talked about trusting everybody who's in the locker room and just sort of how you've seen those guys work together and step in when their number's called.
Yeah. I don't know the severity of either of their injuries, but anytime someone's getting carted off the field or someone's down and you see the Winston pain, it's tragic. I mean, I think that as writers or people somewhat removed from the building, you might say, "Oh, that stinks for that player. Who's next up? How can we?" I don't think you realize how devastating that is on us as players. I mean, it is terrible. The year that I was on IR was one of probably the worst year of my life, and the depression, not contributing to the team, how close we are in what we're building right now. Like I said, I don't know if they might be up this week. I don't know, but I'm just saying when you see those things, it brings you to a tough place. And so the first thing is I'm praying for those guys and hoping that I can, be whatever support I can be, and that they're out there as soon as they can. And there's nothing devastating from this. And then on the X's and O's side, again, a sad part of the business is one guy goes down, you just kind of move the practice 15 plays up and you start practicing again. And that's what's happened here. And luckily, Coach Coop over in the offensive line room has had guys, these guys have been going against me all year as scout players, giving me looks, and I can tell you they're good players. They've clamped me and DT in our room. They put hands on us a few times at practice and through the training camp and stuff like that. So I got confidence in those guys, and that they've all been prepared to obviously plug in and play. But I can't emphasize enough, it's a lot deeper than that. It's a tragedy when somebody goes down.
Any more questions for Harrison? I think we're all set. Appreciate your time, Harrison.
Yep. Thanks, guys.